Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. I hope you're having a fantastic day. It is fantastic to have you here. And of course, we're going to be working on the CSGO, Damascus Steel M9 bayonet. So I hope you enjoy. First things first, I have these two pieces of Damascus steel from former projects that you've seen me do on this channel. Frankly, I don't know what projects exactly, but this one here, I'm going to throw in the fire right now. Oh, he got it in one. This one here, I'm gonna throw in the bandsaw. Oh, look at that. There really wasn't any point me throwing that in the bandsaw because the first thing I'm gonna do is weld it onto a piece of flat bar so that it can be held in the bandsaw while it's being sawn off. That's gonna make the pommel of this bayonet. This here, obviously, is making the guard. Overall, it's gonna be a pretty great day. It's already got a crack in it. Gotta take another piece of steel and start again. Alas, one of the sad things about working Damascus steel, a material that can be so beautiful, is indeed, it can be very susceptible to failure. I have lots of other offcuts kind of hanging around the workshop though, so I'm gonna keep looking. We'll find something else to substitute it. Man, I cannot find anything really suitable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that piece that I was gonna make a knife out of, and we're gonna draw out a little piece of flat stock that we can then make a guard from on this. Man, what a bummer that that thing cracked. Oh well, I'm sure this will still look great. So this is now in the fire, and I'm gonna let it cool nice and slow to anneal. Okay, I'm gonna quickly MIG weld this rusty piece of Damascus onto this bar. This will go into the bandsaw, we'll slice it off. Uh-oh, it is not cutting. This piece of steel probably was not annealed properly. I probably made this Damascus a long time ago and say, you know, it might not have been annealed. At one point, I didn't really worry too much about the annealing because I would just use the chop saw, which has an abrasive disc, which can indeed cut through your harder steels, unlike obviously the steel blades on the bandsaw. So I'm gonna run to the chop saw and we're gonna make some dirt, dust, and noise. So of course we now are going to tackle the blade again. This has been etched, but once it's etched, it has a really ugly finish. It doesn't show off the Damascus the way we want it to. But of course, the purpose of the etch is to show it off the way we want it to. And the reason is naturally, as you guys are very well aware, because I know a lot of you guys think that all I do is Damascus steel. It's not. Though it really does start to look that way. Though it's not all I do. Naturally, you're probably quite familiar with what we're gonna do because we're gonna take a 2000 grit piece of sandpaper. I'm actually going to fold this in half and then rip it. With that 2000 grit piece of wet and dry, we're gonna polish up the high surfaces. It's gonna be nice. It means we get that beautiful finish that we want. Oh, look at that rip. So I'm gonna get some water on there, and then I'm gonna start just gently working this back and forth along the sanding lines that we put in yesterday. This is one of my favorite parts of making a Damascus steel project, because here, with just ever so little work, we start to pull out the pattern in all its glory. So cool! Look at the faces! This is so... Oh my goodness, I could not have used that Damascus for anything better than this. That is Just badass. That is bad to the bone. Oh, look what I just had show up. I know some of you guys are often wondering why it is that I make so much stuff out of Damascus steel. Well, now we have some other type of steel to make stuff out of, and it's not Damascus.
I'm just looking at this piece of steel, and it looks like along that entire meter length, that has been bandsaw cut. That is astonishing.
Okay, I know. It's time to get back to work. So here is the piece that I flattened out a little bit earlier. Look at that pattern, isn't that cool? Showing through the scale like that. It's just simple, straight layers of steel that have been flattened down, and it kind of crushes into that interesting V that repeats up there. So first things first, I need to lop off that little bit at the end there, and then we're gonna throw her in the mill and start machining. Okily dokily. So in the mill, I have the piece of steel. I have a 6mm carbide end mill. I'm in the middle of that piece of steel, and I'm also at an arbitrarily defined end point. What I'm now gonna do is I have my DRO up there. I'm gonna go 42.5, yeah, 42.5 down, down the workpiece. I went too far. Almost there, gently ease it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And what I'm now gonna do with this cutter, right there or wrong, is I'm going to go straight down, I'm gonna poke a hole the whole way through, and then I'm going to cut along from one direction, 10.85mm, then into the other direction, 10.85mm, making a 21.7mm long slot. This is a 6mm end mill, that tang. This tang here is 6.4mm wide, so this 6mm end mill with the 21.7mm long slot will allow for me to then file it to get the perfect fit later on by hand. We're gonna plunge it straight down. It might be wise to not have parallels under there. It would have been a bad thing to destroy my parallel. And now we'll finish off the hole. Boom, there we go. We got ourselves a 6mm hole. I'm gonna lock this off. And now I'm gonna double check. Have a look, 10.85. 10.85. This should mean that when I go back, I'm aiming for 0. So, turn my feed speed down. And away we go. We're off to the races. We're counting down, so when I reach 0, that'll be the measurement that we need. 175432109876543 2 0.17 0.2 0.07 0.06 0.03 02 01 0005. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have half the slot done. Now what I'm going to do is we're gonna go back over in the other direction, and I know if I want a 21.7mm long slot, bada bing, bada boom, I need to go to 21.7 on the other end. So, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop that puppy down, and we're gonna go the way over. That was weird. I'm an idiot. I didn't do my maths right. So whenever I'm doing any machining, I always write everything down so I know the moves that I've got to make. Well, the stupid thing is that I forgot that obviously, and this is something that I usually don't forget, but I have a 6mm end mill, which means that if I then move 10.85 from center, I'm actually moving 13.85 from center, which means that we now have a 16.85mm long slot, accounting for the 3mm on the other side of the tool, the 3mm on this side of the tool. Overall, it's a whole big old problem because I now need to recalculate. It's not, I mean, it's not a massive problem, it's just a case of simple arithmetic, which for me is a massive problem. If in doubt, use a calculator. Am I right? 21.7 take away 16.85 equals 4.85. So this is actually way easier than I thought. I just had to. Okay, I did 21.7 take away the 6mm of my end mill, and it worked. I think it worked. So we're gonna do that, and hopefully nothing bad will happen. This is why you only let trained professionals machine stuff for you. Man, if I had to do actual accuracy stuff, that would be a problem. 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. We did it! 21.7. Woo! Somebody gave me a great tip in the comments section. I was obviously using a ratchet to undo my collets. And somebody said, well, you can just use this. This is the brake that obviously you have to use when you use the ratchet anyway. And you can just hold this and then loosen, hold, and use a normal spanner as a ratchet, which is great. So I'm changing this bit over as well as this collet because I'm going to be putting a 16mm carbide end mill in there to make a hole. Take a 16mm collet, that'll go up in there. 16mm carbide end mill, this will probably fare a hell of a lot better than any high-speed steel drill bits I have. With a little bit of a tightening, there we go. I can now move this back over to where it needs to be. I'm already centered in the Y-axis, so I don't need to do anything with that. All I know, that's an ugly noise this mill makes. I know, I need to get it fixed. All I know is I need to move 26mm over, and this should be just perfect. But of course, I'm gonna double check before I do anything. Yeah, we're good, so I'm gonna lock down this axis. So everything is now nice and tight and hopefully a little bit more rigid. We're gonna turn it on. I'm gonna slow my speed down. I was at 1200. It's carbide, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue for me to go a little faster than I would with high-speed steel. We're gonna go at 800. I'm sure somebody in the comments is gonna let me know that I'm wrong. And I'm just gonna feed this up with the knee of the mill. Beautiful. Let me bring you in. That's just beautiful. It's cutting marvelously. Love it. Okay, so I was never going to claim that this was going to be an actual proper, completely perfect, functional model of the M9 bayonet, but I at least wanted to kind of look pretty close to it. I'm looking at this hole and it just doesn't really look proportionally right. I'm gonna try and measure this. So that's 22.98. I have a 20mm end mill. I'm kinda tempted to try and enlarge this, but it's gonna give me 1.5mm on either side. So it's gonna be a little bit close. I think we'll do it anyway. Okay. And up we go. Then with the 20mm end mill. Trouble with this, there are a couple issues I can think of off the top of my layman machinist head, a very layman, is that I'm taking a very light cut on the edge here. I don't want to go breaking this end mill. And a truck's coming past. Good timing. We'll just do some milling anyway. So I'm worried that I might, damage the end mill with that type of cut, but I'm gonna take it easy. Hopefully it will go all right. I'm gonna run this a lot slower than I ran the other one, down about 500 RPM. And I'm also gonna pull it up on the knee here. A lot easier to control than up there, I find. Yeah, that'll work fine. All right, I'm gonna take some coolant. A lot of people ask what this is. This is just coolant. So this is gonna cool the tool and the material to save it from overheating. Carbide, it's able to withstand high temperatures, but this high-speed steel, it doesn't quite like it as much. And we're through. That went through like butter. That is very exciting. So that piece of steel was clearly very well annealed. I'm able to turn that off. There we go. Now we're gonna do the last hole, which is gonna be going right in there. And I think we're gonna do a smaller hole, maybe 10mm, like a 3/8 hole. That's what it kind of looks like. So I'm going to just have a look, see how proportionally that'll work. I think that'll look good. This is a 10mm carbide end mill. Carbide, 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 carbide. Oh, it's just about that. Carbide, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm saying. Goodness, I'm awfully strange. What do you think, Jamie? You're welcome to speak.
I'm not even thinking, I'm just...
You're just videoing? Yeah. Just scoot in there and get that. Ah! Oh! Okay, let's just take it all nice and slow and not get hurt while we're playing with a milling machine. Let's not lose any fingers. In we go, we got the 10mm carbide in there. And across we go. So now it is time for a lot of grinding. I'm gonna grind in all the profiles that we want for this. So this should be fun. Into the grinding room I go. Hopefully save me from stabbing myself. So here is the 400 grit ground guard. This is now ready to fit up to here. You'll see it doesn't go all the way. So what I now need to do is I need to see where is it touching. It's touching on the sides, and we're gonna start filing and getting this to fit. So I'm taking my time here. Of course, a file only cuts on the push stroke. So I'm lifting up with every stroke, coming back, filing again. And after a few more strokes here on this side, we're gonna go ahead and see how much more it fits. Right, so we're a little bit closer. Got about an inch up there. Still, though, you know, it's very slightly tapering up. It won't take too much work and it should fit perfectly. So, we are very close, as you can see. We're getting there, we've moved our way up it. This is exciting. Now, it's you know, you can, I guess people that are very experienced at it would know exactly where they need to hit the file anyway, just by feeling it and looking with their eyes. But what I'm gonna do to help myself is I'm gonna take a Sharpie right here. And if I quickly draw on this in a Sharpie, I've been doing this up to now as well, quickly draw on this with a Sharpie all the way around, it's gonna tell me where it's contacting with the guard, with the hole in the guard. Once I take the guard, that's the wrong way around, right way around, slam it up there, boom. Now I can take it off. And as you can see right there, you can see the Sharpie that is now transferred onto the guard. These contact points there. Those little bits of Sharpie are telling me that I need to do more work on the end, and I'm gonna be using that little round file to do that. So I've now just cut in some radii that swoop up there, because obviously the tang, we have that radii so that it is stronger. That isn't something I did on my first sword, but it's good a lot of people brought that to my attention, which is good because now indeed we do have a tang to blade transition that is indeed radiused. This is now the moment of truth. I think we're gonna be pretty close. Oh yes, that is so good. We are just, oh my goodness, we're just a little bit away from that. Fantastic. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hand sand this guard, it's gonna go into the etch, and we're gonna work on the pommel.
Okay, so we've got a lovely, lovely 400 grit finish on this piece.
And this is now ready to go into the ferric chloride, and there we go. We're gonna call it there for a day, guys. I hope you have enjoyed watching. On tomorrow's episode, we're gonna be working on the pommel as well as the handle. I can't wait to see you then. Don't forget to go and get an awesome t-shirt because... awesome t-shirts. And I will see you tomorrow on the next episode. There are 2 videos right here. That's part 1 of this entire series. That's part 2 of that entire series. Hit subscribe if you're new, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, t-shirts. Remember, enter the competition. See you then.